He walked into her world, and she couldn't let him leave. The transport pod crashed into Zephyria Prime with enough force to shake the crystalline forests for miles around. Maya Velthari felt the impact through the neural network that connected her to every living thing on her homeworld. She pressed her pale blue fingers against the sensing nodes embedded in her temple and winced as the alien craft tore through the atmosphere like a burning star. Something was wrong. The crash site pulsed with an energy signature, unlike anything, in the galactic database. Maya's silver eyes narrowed as she accessed the planetary defense grid. 3 solar cycles had passed since the Terran Federation had made first contact with the Zephyrian Republic, but no human vessel should have been this far into restricted space. She moved through the crystal corridors of the monitoring station with fluid grace. Her bioluminescent markings flickered from pale blue to deep purple, betraying her growing concern. As head navigator of planetary defense, Maya had sworn an oath to protect Zephyria Prime from all threats, even if those threats came from the species that had already proven themselves dangerously unpredictable. The journey to the crash site took her through the lower valleys where the crystal trees grew in perfect geometric patterns. Maya's transport skimmed just above the ground, leaving barely a whisper in the charged atmosphere. As she drew closer to the impact crater, her biosensors detected something that made her heart skip a beat. A single life form. Human. Still alive. Maya landed her transport at the crater's edge and peered down at the wreckage. The human vessel was unlike anything she had seen in the technical briefings. It was smaller than the diplomatic shuttles, sleeker, and covered in what appeared to be adaptive camouflage plating. More concerning was the energy signature still, emanating from its core systems. She descended into the crater with careful steps. The human was trapped beneath a section of twisted metal, conscious but clearly injured. Maya had never seen a human this close before. His dark hair was matted with blood and his brown eyes held an intensity that made her bioluminescent patterns flicker involuntarily. He looked up at her approach and spoke in the common trade language. "Help me." Maya hesitated. Protocol demanded that she contact the Defense Council before engaging with any human survivor. The peace treaty between their species was still fragile, built on careful diplomatic negotiations that could be shattered by a single incident. But as she watched him struggle beneath the debris, something deeper than duty stirred within her. She activated her biomechanical augments and lifted the metal section with ease. The human gasped as the weight came off his legs. Maya knelt beside him and ran her scanner over his injuries. 3 broken ribs, internal bleeding, and a concussion that would have killed most species. Yet he was still conscious, still trying to sit up. "What's your name?" Maya asked. "Jake Collins," he replied, through gritted teeth. "And I need to warn you about something." Maya's markings flashed bright red, warning patterns. "Warn me about what?" Jake struggled to reach a data pad that had been thrown clear of the wreckage. "The Devourers. They're coming." The name sent a chill through Maya's nervous system. The Devourers were a myth, a legend told to frighten young Zephyrians about the darkness between the stars. Ancient beings that consumed entire worlds, leaving nothing behind but empty space. "That's impossible," Maya said. "The Devourers are just stories." Jake managed to activate the data pad with shaking fingers. The screen displayed tactical readings that made Maya's bioluminescent markings pulse with alarm. Energy signatures, moving through hyperspace. Dozens of them, all heading directly for Zephyria Prime. "I was part of a deep space reconnaissance mission," Jake explained. "We found evidence that the Devourers weren't extinct. They were just sleeping, and something has woken them up." Maya accessed the planetary defense network through her neural interface. The deep space sensors showed nothing unusual. No incoming vessels, no energy distortions. Either Jake's data was false or the approaching threat was using technology beyond Zephyrian understanding. "Why should I believe you?" Maya asked. Jake met her silver eyes with his brown ones. "Because in 18 hours, your entire world is going to be destroyed unless we stop them." Maya made a decision that would change both their lives forever. Instead of contacting the Defense Council, She helped Jake to his feet and supported him as they climbed out of the crater. Her biomarkings had shifted to deep blue, the color of determination mixed with fear. She transported Jake to her private research facility deep in the crystal forests. The building was grown rather than built, shaped from living crystal that responded to her bioelectric field. Maya settled Jake on a medical scanner and began treating his injuries with techniques that seemed like magic to human eyes. As the healing gel worked to repair his broken ribs, Jake explained everything he had discovered. The Devourers were ancient, machines older than any known civilization. They had swept through the galaxy millions of years ago, consuming entire star systems before going dormant. The energy signature suggested they had awakened and were following some kind of programmed path toward inhabited worlds. My ship's AI calculated their trajectory, Jake said. Zephyria Prime is directly in their path. They'll arrive tomorrow at dawn. Maya ran the tactical data through her own analysis systems. The results were terrifying. The Devourers moved faster than any known spacecraft, and their energy weapons could crack a planet's crust. Even if she convinced the Defense Council to believe Jake's warning, Zephyria Prime's defenses would be useless. But there was something else in Jake's data that caught her attention. The Devourer machine seemed to avoid certain energy frequencies, patterns that matched the bioelectric signatures of Zephyrian neural networks. It was as if the ancient builders had programmed them to recognize and spare certain types of consciousness. There might be a way, Maya said quietly. She showed Jake the frequency analysis. If we can amplify my neural signature and broadcast it through the planetary defense grid, we might be able to convince the Devourers that this world is already claimed by a consciousness they're programmed to respect. Jake studied the data with growing excitement. It could work, but you'd have to interface directly with the entire planetary grid. The neural feedback could kill you. Maya's biomarking shifted to pure white, the color of absolute resolve. Then that's what I'll do. They worked through the night, modifying the defense grid's transmission arrays to carry bioelectric patterns instead of conventional energy weapons. Jake's technical knowledge of human systems proved invaluable as they bridged the gap between Zephyrian biotechnology and the quantum processors needed for the amplification. As dawn approached, the deep space sensors finally detected the incoming threat. Dozens of massive shapes dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Each devourer was the size of a small moon, covered in weapon systems that defied understanding. They began moving towards Zephyria Prime with terrifying purpose. Maya connected herself to the modified defense grid through neural cables that snaked across her arms and neck. The connection burned like liquid fire as her consciousness expanded, to encompass the entire planet. She could feel every living thing on Zephyria Prime, from the smallest crystal parasites to the great whale creatures that swam in the molten seas. Jake monitored her vital signs as the Devourers approached. "They're in weapons range," he reported. "Maya, whatever you're going to do it now." Maya opened her mind completely and pushed her consciousness out through the defense grid. Her bioelectric signature spread across space like ripples in a pond, carrying the complex patterns of Zephyrian neural activity. She felt the moment when the Devourer sensors detected her transmission. The ancient machines paused in their approach. For several terrifying seconds, nothing happened. Then slowly, the Devourers began to change course. Their weapon systems powered down and they turned away from Zephyria Prime, heading back toward the darkness between stars. Maya collapsed as the neural feedback hit her like a physical blow. Jake caught her as she fell, cradling her unconscious form against his chest. Her biomarkings flickered weakly, cycling through colors that spoke of exhaustion and pain. When Maya finally awakened, Jake was still holding her. The defense grid showed empty space where the Devourers had been. Zephyria Prime was safe, but the effort had nearly killed her. Her neural pathways were damaged, leaving her unable to interface with the planetary network as she had before. "It worked," Jake said, softly. "You saved your entire world." Maya looked into his brown eyes and realized something had changed between them during their desperate race against time. The barriers between their species seemed less important now. They had faced the darkness together and emerged victorious through trust and cooperation. "What happens now?" Maya asked. Jake helped her sit up, his hand lingering on her shoulder. I need to report back to the Federation. They need to know the Devourers are still out there, but I was hoping you might come with me. Maya's biomarkings shifted to soft gold, the color of new possibilities. The Defense Council will want a full report, and someone needs to make sure this information reaches the right people. They both knew it meant more than just sharing tactical data. The connection, forged between them in those desperate hours,